This is WBRS reporting live from the Access Center.
Hi, I am James.
And I am Shannon.
Today we have Josh with a story on black holes,
Eliza with a story on how NASA changed forever,
Nathan with a story on the Zika virus,
James with a story on Isaiah Thomas,
Shannon with info on the presidential debate,
and Haley with an interview with Mrs. Connors.
Over to you, Shannon.
Thanks, James. For generations, we have had a new president every 4 to 8 years, depending if they are re-elected. A president is elected by how many votes a candidate gets. This year, our top 6 candidates were Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton in the Democratic Party, and Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush in the Republican Party. Hillary Clinton says she will increase women's rights. In some jobs, women have to work 10 extra hours a week to get the same amount pay as men. Jeb says he will spend our money on the soldiers and help America. Ted Cruz said he will bring joy to America. He will fix America, and from day one his campaign has been moving. Bernie Sanders will spend our money on the important things and make America right. Marco Rubio will be smart and think about his decisions to make things right. Donald Trump will make the best army and help fix America. His catchphrase is, "Make America Great Again." But the Democratic Party and the Republican Party is whittled down to 2, first in New Hampshire. In New Hampshire, the biggest presidential state where we are first have a poll and vote for the primary. The candidates were Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump. But who will win the primary in all the other states together? In February, Donald Trump and Sanders were winning. Who do you think will be president? On this news team, Trump got 3 votes and Bernie Sanders reserved 2. As kids, we do not get to vote, so it is up to our parents. Who will be the next president, Bernie or Trump? Go ask your parents. Who will they vote for? Thanks for listening. Shannon, WBRS. Back to you, James.
Well, I think Bernie Sanders will win.
I hope so, too. Now let's slide over to Eliza with a story on how NASA changed forever.
Thanks, Shannon. The Challenger disaster, one of the many things that changed the entire nation, kids, and even NASA. It all started on January 28, 1986, and all the crew members were boarding the shuttle. But a few minutes later, kaboom, the external fuel tank had collapsed. The shuttle broke apart and landed in the Atlantic Ocean, killing all 7 crew members. Kids all over the nation were watching the Challenger take off from Florida's Kennedy Space Center. The kids in school who were watching the shuttle take off on TV were extremely horrified and scared. The Challenger was arranged by NASA to send a teacher into outer space so they could do a space project. They had done a contest and a teacher from the high school had won. Teacher Krista McAuliffe had won the contest to go to outer space, but sadly she died. But the good thing is she was named in the planetarium because she was the first American civilization selected to go into outer space. After extensive research and a thorough investigation, they found out that cold weather, lacking of questioning and design flaw led to the accident. Also because this happened, the shuttle program was grounded for 3 years. Let's make a change and always ask questions and listen before we launch any inventions. Now I hope you inventors out there will listen, use other ideas, and always stay keen. I'm Eliza, and thanks for listening to my story. Now back to you, Shannon.
I would be terrified if that ship exploded while I was watching.
Me too. Over to you, Nate, with a story on the Zika virus.
Thanks, James. The Zika virus is a disease that has spread to 25 countries and territories. The international sickness comes from the mosquitoes in Uganda and causes birth defects with infants born with abnormally small heads and incomplete brain development. Another possible effect of the disease is Guillain-Barré syndrome. The disease was spotted in 1947 and is common in Africa and Asia. The Zika virus causes mild flu-like symptoms that could be pain behind the eyes, joints or muscle pain, fatigue, fevers, chills, loss of appetite, eye redness, and headaches. The symptoms occur about 1 week after being bitten by a mosquito. The Zika virus alone is not a clinically serious virus in most people, but is dangerous to pregnant women. An emergency declaration by the World Health Organization will help intensify mosquito control efforts and create a vaccine. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said no locally transmitted cases have been reported in the contiguous USA, but several U.S. citizens have caught the virus while traveling outside the USA. President Obama has spent $1.8 billion on the Zika virus for helping children. He's also emphasized the need to accelerate research efforts and to ensure that all Americans have information about the Zika virus and steps they can take to better protect themselves from infection. Now back to you, James.
That is bizarre, the tragedy happening there.
I don't want to go to South America right now.
Now over to Josh with a story on black holes.
Thanks, James and Shannon. Did you know black holes are created by stars running out of fuel and exploding? If you ever become an astronaut, be careful in space because black holes are invisible. The only way you can see them are space telescopes. Black holes can be any size and suck up anything from an ant to a planet. A black hole can hold more than 1 million tons. If a black hole sucks in a star, it will create high energy. If two black holes cross, it will send space ripples through Earth like someone just jumped in water. Just a few days ago this happened and the ripples just hit Earth, Mikey Chent says. Scientists believe this was not close to the first time this ever happened. Scientists have been wondering how long this would take to hit, Mikey Chent says. Then the ripples hit. If I were a scientist, I could probably tell how excited they were. Did you know a black hole can run out of energy? If a black hole ever runs out of energy, it will turn into a white hole. A white hole is the complete opposite of a black hole. It ejects everything out it sucked in. Some scientists think this is a fast way to teleport through space. This is also how some scientists think this is an easy way to explore space too. Nothing can pass through a white hole, only energy and light. Back to you, Shannon and James.
I think it's cool how there's an opposite hole called a white hole.
I would not enjoy being in one of those. Now let's jump over to James with the story on Isaiah Thomas.
Thanks, Shannon. Isaiah Thomas is a basketball player for the Boston Celtics and was invited to the All-Star team. In my opinion, he is a great player. He was born February 7, 1989 in Tacoma, Washington. He is currently 28 years old. Thomas was named after the famous Detroit Pistons player by his dad. He attended the University of Washington for 3 years. He helped the Huskies win the Pac-10 championship in 2011, scoring 28 points against Arizona. Also, during his junior year, he was a top 10 candidate for the Bob Cousy Award. After his junior year, he made the decision to leave college for the NBA and was the last player selected in the NBA draft. Isaiah started his professional career with the Sacramento Kings. He was traded to the Phoenix Suns in 2014 and finally to the Boston Celtics in February of 2015. He played his first game with the Celtics on February 22nd, 2015. During that game, he got 21 points and 5 rebounds. In January of 2016, Thomas was named to the Eastern Conference All-Star Reserve Team. He is the lowest draft pick to be named an All-Star since the NBA was cut to 2 rounds in 1989. Best of luck to Isaiah Thomas and the Boston Celtics as they attempt to bring another championship back to Boston. Back to you, Shannon.
I think that is very informational. I can't believe Isaiah Thomas was invited to the All-Star team.
Thanks, Shannon.
Let's make some noise for an interview with Mrs. Connors by Haley.
Hi, I'm Haley, and I will be interviewing Miss Connors. When you were a kid, did you want to be an assistant principal?
Oh, great question, Haley. I actually did not want to be an assistant principal when I was a kid. I always wanted to be a teacher, and I never, ever thought that I would be an assistant principal.
Were you ever a teacher?
I was never a classroom teacher, but I was a special ed teacher.
How long did you teach?
I taught for 7 years before I became an administrator.
What grade do you teach?
Oh, I taught, you're never going to believe this, I taught 7th and 8th grade at the middle school, and I loved it.
What subject do you teach?
Well, I was a special ed teacher, so I did a lot of co-teaching with a lot of the other teachers in the building, but then I also taught math and reading.
Where do you go to college?
Ooh, I went to college at Salve Regina University in Newport, Rhode Island, and then I got my master's at Currier College in Nashua. I went to school for a long time.
Do you go from being a teacher to an assistant principal?
I did not. That is a really great question. I worked at the district office, and I was the coordinator of pupil services. So I did a lot with transportation, and I did a lot with summer school, and I work with some kids that aren't in our schools here but go to school somewhere else.
How many years have you been an assistant principal?
6 awesome years.
What's your favorite part of your job?
I have 2 favorite parts. Working with awesome teachers and working with awesome kids. I love being in school with the kids. I missed that when I was at the district office because there's no kids there. So being back in the school was really important to me.
How hard is it to be an assistant principal, a mom, and have your husband in the military?
Oh, another really good question, Haley. It's hard sometimes because I want to be a really great assistant principal for you and all your friends, and I want to be a great mom for my kids, for Molly and Sean, and I also want to be a good wife. So sometimes it takes a lot of work, and most important, I have to balance everything. So make sure I do a good job here and do a good job at home.
Were you nervous when you got interviewed for assistant principal of the year?
Yes, as nervous as I am now. It was very scary. There were 12 people that sat in front of me, and I had to answer questions. And I didn't know the questions ahead of time.
How do you feel when you won the award for assistant principal of the year?
I was very excited, a little nervous on what it meant and what I needed to do, because funny enough, Mrs. Connors is a little shy, and so I was a little nervous about that, but I was really excited and really happy for North School.
Were you happy when your picture was in the paper?
Yes, it was very nice that my picture was in the paper. I wish it was with everyone in the whole school with me. That would have been even better.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Haley, for interviewing me. It has been a pleasure to spend the morning with you.
That was very fun. She must be so proud of herself.
I would be if I were her.
That's all the time we have today.
Thanks for watching.
WBRS.
This is WLNC broadcasting from the Access Center, bringing news to you.
Hello and welcome to WLNC, your local news. Hi, I'm Colleen.
And I'm Ryan, and we'll be your anchors today. We have many interesting stories in store for you.
First, we have Devin with a story on Pokemon, video games, and cards.
Thanks, Colleen. Pokemon has been popular and is still one of the most popular series of video games, cards, and even shows for 2 decades. It all started in the late 1990s. A man named Toshi Tajiri had a hobby and decided to put his idea into a game. His hobby was catching bugs in jars as a collector. Then he thought of an idea and first game featuring characters inspired by his bug collection. He called it Pokemon because it meant pocket monsters. He asked Nintendo if they can fund the project, but Nintendo refused. His friends started to help him pitch it to the company and Nintendo funded the project. After seeing how many people bought the game, they made red, blue, and later yellow. So many people bought it that Nintendo made $200 million in 2013, $4 trillion for the video games. There are also Pokemon trading cards that are now as popular as the games. There's even a place down Boston where you can battle other people and trade with them. 2016 is the 20th anniversary. The Pokemon video games and cards are a lot better than in the past, having made many improvements. The video games and cards are in color and more 3D. The cards have introduced new characters and have better designs than the original cards. So far they have introduced So far they have made 6 series, and there'll even be another one which is coming out soon. Back to you, Colleen.
Thanks, Devin. It's so interesting that the first Pokemon characters were inspired by bugs.
Yeah, I agree. Twisting around, we have Jenna with tornadoes and thunderstorms.
Thanks, Ryan. You should know what a tornado is. However, did you know they are caused by thunderstorms? Tornadoes are usually the extreme result of a very large thunderstorm called a supercell. During the storm, cold air and warm air combine. The cold air drops as the warm air rises. The warm air eventually twists into a spiral and forms a funnel cloud. The sky turns a very dark green color and the tornado begins its destruction. Tornadoes occur mostly during May, followed by June, April, and July. However, tornadoes can occur anywhere at any time as long as the temperature and conditions are just right. Tornadoes have been documented in every state in the United States. However, they are most common in an area called Tornado Alley. Tornado Alley includes South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and part of Texas. If you want to stay safe during a tornado, find a deep hole, go to a windowless interior room on the lowest level of your house, get away from the windows, go to the center of the room, get under a piece of sturdy furniture such as a workbench or heavy table or desk, and hold on to it. Use your arms to protect your head and neck, and if you are in a mobile home, get out and find shelter elsewhere. Back to you, Ryan.
Thanks, Jenna. I didn't know the skies turn dark gray when a tornado starts.
It probably looks really cool. Bouncing over to Boston, we have David with Celtics basketball.
Thanks, Colleen. Hi. Today I'm discussing Celtics basketball history from 1910 to 2016. The league started in 1946. The Celtics played great games that the fans loved. Best of all, they had 17 championships. They also had 8 in a row from 1959 to 1966. The Celtics struggled for the first 4 years. Then in 1950, they started a winning streak. The team began to improve by 21 wins in a row. Then 2 new teammates joined named Paul Pierce and Bill Russell. In 1998, Paul Pierce had led them to reach 10,000 points in all. Since he was around, the Celtics were a success into the championships. Then he became a true all-star to the Celtics. In 1956, Bill Russell had made the Celtics unstoppable and got them to the finals. In 1969, Bill Russell retired and the team lost their good player. Most people think they are a really great team. A Celtics player named Larry Bird was also an all-star. He was the NBA Rookie of the Year, 1980. In the year 1981, he led the Celtics to championship number 14. Then Reggie Lewis, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish all retired. All of the remaining ties of their winning years were gone. Well, that's all for today. Back to you, Colleen.
Thanks, David. It's cool that the Celtics have been playing for over 50 years.
Yeah, it is cool. Then on a serious note, Colleen has an important report on Syrian children.
Thanks, Ryan. Do you know that more than 6.5 million children have been displaced thanks to the Syrian civil war? Since the rise against President Bashar al-Assad in early 2011, who was believed to be the safest country in the Middle East, is now the most dangerous country in the world. According to worldvision.org, more than 13.5 million people in Syria and surrounding countries are in need of humanitarian assistance. Half are children. 2.6 million children are out of school, and 2 million are refugees. According to worldvision.org, more people are in need of assistance than Hurricane Katrina, Haiti's earthquake, and Indian tsunami combined. Many children are now living in poverty. They have gone through bombings, battles, and many have lost friends and relatives. The United Nations has estimated that about 220,000 people had died so far. Many children and their families have fled to bordering countries like Jordan and Lebanon. 10% of refugees have fled to Europe. According to UNHCR, Germany accepts the most refugees. Many refugees live in refugee camps. The largest of these is Camp Dadaab in Kenya, which holds 500,000 refugees. The people of Syria are starving. According to an eyewitness, many have resorted to eating house pets. Some children are homeless and out of school. One of 4 schools is either damaged, destroyed, or occupied. Many have left school to provide for their families. Many children are sole providers for their families. According to the eyewitness, all the people who have left this town are now prisoners, dead, or have lost limbs. Just like in the Great Depression, children are finding ways to survive. Some don't have toys and cherish very little. Through the war, many children have more responsibilities like caring for younger children, and sometimes have become the head of a family. Many children have been injured, and about 12,000 children are already dead, and more deaths are sure to come. Many children are dying from hunger. We need to help and rescue these children today. If we wait any longer, more terror will reach these children's hearts. We must save this lost generation before it's too late. Start your rescue today at www.studentsrebuild.org. Back to you, Ryan.
Thanks, Colleen. That was a very sad report. It's so depressing that more than 200,000 people have died so far.
I'm glad that this is ways that we can help.
Next, Megan with a fantastic story about the debate brewing regarding trails behind Londonderry Town Common.
Thanks, Ryan. There's a big debate going on in Londonderry. Should the trails around the Londonderry Town Common stay as is and be maintained as a town forest or become a park? It's long overdue for a resolution. Recently, the Conservation Committee discussed efforts to conserve this open space. In 2013, tax money was put aside to cover the maintenance of the town forest. Conservation Committee member Dev Levin says the sole purpose of many of the town's conservation area is to protect natural resources. Her concern is that there is a cost to manage it more as a park. Forests by their nature may appear messy or natural. A forest is not a park, and a park is not a forest. That doesn't mean there shouldn't be trails, but those trails will not be the type to make the area look like a manicured park. The Londonderry taxpayers should have say as to where the money should be spent. Residents voted once to keep the town forest under conservation management, but the town manager, Kevin Smith, thinks it's time for another vote. The Conservation Committee is under a lot of pressure from the town council to do more in terms of using its open spaces for recreation areas. The best idea is to really find out what the families of Londonderry would like and put those ideas out to bid to determine if the project makes sense. What do you think? Should the town spend some of its money set aside to make it more family-friendly and more park-like, or leave it in its natural state? Now back to Ryan.
Thanks, Megan. I hope they keep their trails in their natural state.
Me too. Now video games in school, mix them together, and we have Ryan with a case of Minecraft education.
Thanks, Colleen. Looks like some students have been learning and playing the game Minecraft Education Edition in school. It's where you can play Minecraft at school, save your progress in the cloud, and learn school lessons like STEM, which is the acronym for science, technology, engineering, and math. Minecraft Education can teach STEM and many other lessons. Over 5,500 teachers in 40 and over states have used it to teach STEM. Students can build and learn lessons in Minecraft Education. You can learn math and even do a math quiz inside Minecraft Education, and teachers can grade it. You can save everything in the cloud. You can go home and finish the world or lesson that you built in school. If your teacher sends you a lesson, you could do that. Your parents could send you a practice test and you could practice whatever that was. Basically, what I am saying is you can access these worlds on any computer. This game is appropriate for education where the other versions of Minecraft were not. Minecraft Education has more additional features for education than the former versions. Minecraft Education was specifically designed to be used in classrooms, but you can still use it at your house. Mojang and Teacher Gaming collaborated to develop Minecraft Education. Minecraft is a really fun and awesome game that teaches STEM, saves progress in the cloud, and is appropriate for a school setting. Sounds awesome to me. Back to you, Colleen.
Thanks, Ryan. I didn't know that there was an educational edition for Minecraft in school.
Well, sorry, folks. We're out of time.
See you next time on
WLNC.
Welcome to WLMS Broadcasting Program, where we inform you on all the news on the go.
Hi, I'm Bridget.
And I'm Ethan. Today we have William with the Pinewood Derby, Dana with new animal species,
Ethan with the 9th planet, Ellie with updates on global warming,
Bridget with the Bee Hotel,
and Kaya with Steph Curry.
and now William will lead us off with info about the Pinewood Derby.
Thanks, Ethan. Hi, I'm William. Pinewood Derby is for Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts too. It is a competition where kids and their parents get a block of pinewood and carve it in a shape and put wheels on it so it can race on a track. The track usually has 2 to 6 lanes and slopes down to the ground since the cars are powered by gravity. The end of the track has a system that can sense the car go underneath it and times it so they know who won the race. Tracks may be owned by the pack or rented. The race is run in heats, giving every car the chance to run on each lane. The racers can be grouped with others from the same rank, tiger cubs, wolf cubs, bear cubs, etc., or can compete against the pack as a whole. First, second, and third place winners usually receive ribbons, medals, or trophies, and gets the option of going to districts. The first Pinewood Derby was held on May 15, 1953 at the Harmer House in Manhattan Beach, California. Then the Pinewood Derby got popular and all Cub Scouts started to participate. As the popularity of the Pinewood Derby grew, other organizations started to adopted the concept. Pinewood Derby is a registered trademark of the BSA, so most use different names. Thank you for your time. Back to you, Ethan.
Wow, the Pinewood Derby seems like fun.
Now to Dana with new animal species.
Thanks, Bridget. Did you know that new species are discovered every year? The vampire crab, the glass-eyed frog, and the sea slug were all discovered in 2015. The vampire crab was discovered in Indonesia, which is in Asia. They are found in river valleys on the island of Java. They can live in the ocean and sometimes on land. It eats greens and bugs. The vampire crab got its name from its spooky appearance. Their yellow glowing eyes and bright purple or orange shells make them unique. They grow up to 20 to 25 millimeters in size. They resemble a scorpion. The sea slug was discovered off the coast of Japan. It lives in the ocean and is mostly transparent with some bright colors, including blue, red, and gold. The sea slug feeds on coral and plankton. It is 17 to 25 millimeters. The glass-eyed frog was found in southern Mexico. It lives high in the treetops of the rainforest. They have bright green or olive green skin and grow to be 0.78 inches. One interesting thing about the glass-eyed frog is that you can see right through it. It's a carnivore and eats insects and different types of spiders. The glass-eyed frog is endangered. These 3 interesting species were all discovered in 2015. Hope there'll be more in 2016. Back to you, Bridget.
Wow, there is a frog that you can see through. That's really cool. Now here's Ethan with the 9th planet.
Thanks, Bridget. It's been 150 years since scientists have discovered a new planet in our solar system. British astronomer Dr. Mike Brown has claimed that he has discovered a new planet with the nickname Planet 9. Planet 9 orbits differently than the other planets, causing objects in space to move. The 9th planet has changed what scientists understand about our solar system. Scientists are still searching for solid evidence that there's a new planet. If Planet 9 is real, it is said to be interesting with all of it. It is said to be fascinating with all of its interesting facts. It is said to have a mass 10 times the mass of Earth. Before Planet 9, Neptune was the farthest planet in our solar system from the Sun. Planet 9 is 20 times further from the Sun than Neptune. It's so far from the Sun that it takes 10,000 to 20,000 years to orbit the Sun. Don't get too excited. There is still no picture or solid proof of its existence. Scientists are saying that it is almost definitely real. There is a 1 in 50,000% chance that Planet 9 is not real. Dr. Mike Brown is trying to encourage astronomers around the world to join the search for the new planet. He says there's lots of telescopes around the world that can see it. Back to you, Bridget.
That's cool that there might be a whole new planet to be discovered.
Melting over to Ellie with more updates on global warming.
Thanks, Bridget and Ethan. Did you know that global warming is a very serious issue that may cause unfortunate situations? Scientists are trying to figure out a cause for this situation. Some researchers say that it may be as big as the Ice Age. Many animals are affected by global warming, such as polar bears, seals, penguins, and waterfowl birds. These animals are affected from the Earth getting 1 degree Celsius warmer in a period of 100 to 200 years. Over only 1 century, the heat increased by 1.4 degrees Celsius. In Antarctica, many icebergs are melting from the climate change. We have observed significant changes in the Earth's climate system, including reduced snowfall in the northern hemisphere, retreat of sea ice in the Arctic, retreating glaciers on all continents, and shrinking of the area covered by permafrost and the increasing depth of its active layer, all of which are consistent with a warming global climate.
According to the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, between 1880 and the beginning of 2014, the 19 warmest years on record have all occurred within the past 20 years. The reason why animals are affected is because their habitat is melting. Each year, species are ending their hibernating season because they think the winter is over. Animals and people are in a dangerous situation. We should fix the problem before it gets even worse. Here are some things we can do to keep our world healthy. Drive smarter cars, invest clean jobs in new energy, and build better communities and transportation. Thanks for your time. Back to you, Bridget.
That's terrible. The animals can get hurt from global warming.
Yeah, that's really bad. Now over to Bridget with the Bee Hotel.
Thanks, Ethan. Did you know that if nobody starts to help bees, they could go extinct? In Durham, New Hampshire, scientists have been studying bees. They have figured out that this really could happen. Some students have volunteered to help them. They have decided to build a small bee hotel in the backyard of the University of New Hampshire. Did you know that bees are the most important insect? Without them, there would be many things we wouldn't have, such as good crops. Also, farmers wouldn't make as much money without bees. According to Sandra Rehan, an assistant professor of biological sciences at UNH, the research is important because bees are critical to food crops and natural ecosystems. In fact, the value of pollination to agriculture is estimated at more than $200 billion a year worldwide. Did you know that there are a total of 20,000 bee species in the world, that there are 250 bee species in our region? Beekeepers in the United States and Europe are losing so many bees due to a condition known as colony collapse disorder. Colony collapse disorder is an event that occurs when the majority of worker bees in a colony abandon their hive, leaving behind the queen and some immature bees. Honeybees are facing serious threats. The Bee Hotel is meant to keep that from happening ever again. Sandra Rehan at UNH is hoping the Bee Hotel works, and so am I. Hopefully we can save the bees. Thanks. Back to you, Ethan.
I didn't know so many bees were losing their home.
Bouncing over to Kyle with Steph Curry.
Thanks, Bridget. Hi, I'm Kyle. Steph Curry is a great NBA basketball player. He is 27 years old, 6 foot 3 inches tall, and weighs 185 pounds. Curry was born on March 14, 1988 in Ohio. He grew up in North Carolina with a little brother named Seth. His dad is Steph Curry, who played in the NBA too. He played for the Cavaliers from 1982 to 1986. Before Steph came to the NBA, he played at Davidson College for 3 years, from 2006 to 2009, as a point guard for the team. In 2009, he was drafted by the Golden State Warriors with a 7th overall pick. Curry wears the number 30 and is the team's point guard. Curry has been an All-Star 3 times, including 2016. He won the Most Valuable Player award in 2015. He also won an NBA championship with the Warriors 2015. According to MSN.com, Steph Curry is averaging 30.6 assists and 5 rebounds per game this season. Back to you, Ethan.
Wow, Steph Curry was last year's MVP player? That's awesome.
That's it for today on WLMS.
Thanks for watching.